Look, man, HRT isn't going to turn you into your waifu or like those 1% top OnlyFans girls. You're going to look like your mother. And that's fine. She's a very beautiful woman. It was a pleasure to make her acquaintance last night. Considering how much trans memes I make on this channel, I probably should acknowledge this at least once. Yeah. HRT probably isn't going to turn you into the girl of your dreams or anything like that. It's more likely that you'll look like your parents than anything else, same as any other kid. However, you will most likely see yourself looking significantly better purely because you won't hate yourself in that way. That alone will make you feel like you're more beautiful. That is an effect that is very common for trans people. Not always, but it is common. And it is worth measuring your expectations in that way. However, the waifu and very pretty girls are easy to understand memes that are a lot easier for people to recognize as this beautiful, in this case, women because they use waifu, but also trans men have this exact same thing of how you transition into someone who you would like to look like. There's also the fact that if you're a lot happier, you tend to be seen as more beautiful because of that. Which, yeah, a lot of trans people do become a lot happier once they're on HRT, so there you go. Trans people, hormones have made me feel good about it and at home in my body for the first time ever in my life. Cis people, but aren't you worried that might be irreversible? Happiness forever? La gasp. This girl next to me in class offered me a silver drink because I mentioned that I was thirsty. I was not frickin' expecting to take a sip of vodka cranberry at 9 a.m., y'all. I'm always kidding, unless you're down. Schrodinger's freak. Something kinda neat I found out. If you ignore a problem for long enough, it either goes away or ruins your life. So 50-50 are pretty good odds. Woman on plane asked me for my window seat so she could sit with her husband. I said no. She said, wow, someone hates love. No, ma'am, I paid to lean my head against this plastic wall and disassociate. You can hold hands at the baggage claim. If she really cared about love that much, she would have paid the extra money herself. This is someone complaining. We got a choosing beggar aboard. And it sucks because in her eyes it is your fault. Making new friends as an adult is hard because the people I'd get along best with are the ones who also don't want to leave their house. The Matrix described 1999 as the peak of human civilization, and I laughed because that would obviously not age well. But then the next 23 years happened, and now I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe the machines had a point. You folks always seem to forget the full proverb is, one bad apple spoils the whole barrel. This is because rotten apples produce high amounts of ethylene, which cause all other apples to become rotten. The metaphor is not about isolated rot, it's about collective rot. Today, the student debt crisis has reached 1654792448855. That's okay, thousand, million, billion, trillion? Yeah, that's true. That's such a big number. I need a pause just to understand it. Jeez. Just made a payment. It should have dropped by 275. Whew. Crisis diverted. Thanks, Simon. You're a lifesaver. If you become submissive and defenseless from hearing a phrase as simple as, good girl, or good boy, or good dog, then you're an evolutionary weak link. Imagine if a bear or mountain lion found out and used this against you. Oh dear. I gotta watch out for bears and mountain lions now. I didn't know they could use that against me. Well, 3 of these would get me to stop. But no. When I was 19, my boss said I should be a phone sex operator and laughed. I said, I don't get it. He said, it's a joke. I said, explain it to me. And that's how I learned that once sexual harassers have to explain why their inappropriate jokes are funny, they stop laughing. My dad just told me never laugh. They will mistake your nervous laughter as compliance. Instead, pretend you don't get it and watch them explain to you why you should be laughing. I've used this advice my whole life since. Remember, every time you laugh with a joke, you are confirming that they are correct for making said joke. That is how jokes thrive, is via people being entertained. If no one's entertained by the joke, that person will stop making the joke. Or at least they'll adjust the joke until eventually realizing the problem. Who said Greek tragedies were not funny? Slave, you won't kill me? Or this, I think? I don't know. I feel like I've heard this somewhere, but I don't remember where. Go. Fabulous. Unless I reconsider. Not fabulous. Not fabulous indeed, oh dear. Me, is it sexy when I do this? Turns one of her dials with a satisfying click. It's okay, I guess. How about this? Plugs in a thumb drive. Is this like your first time? Are those PlayStation 4 save files? Whoa, my tweet bloated up. Awesome. Using a magnet on herself. Oh, that's great, man. My therapist said this to me, and it hit me like a brick. Kill anyone who disagrees with you. That's really bad advice. Why would they tell you that? Be careful. Oh yeah, good point. If there's one person to not disagree with, it's that guy. Therapist said so. He's in the clear. Riley Gaines. I don't know who that is, but I feel like I should. It's so easy to not get shot by ice. Oh no. Statistically, you are more likely to be shot by ice than you are to compete against a trans woman. That is true. I feel like that's kind of an unfair comparison because most people aren't competing anyway, and those people are walking down the street, which is all it takes to be shot by ice. But, you know, I see the point you're trying to make, and you aren't wrong. You are not wrong. If Riley Gaines has ever complained about competing against trans women, then this is correct. Turns a 5th place tie in college swimming. Okay, well. Take on transgender participation. Wikipedia, finally a reliable source. Was it that she complained? I feel like it is. Yeah, she participated. Coming 7th. Okay, that didn't say anything. Feared for her life after speaking out. Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah, she complained about it. And she feared for her life that the trans people would come get her. Oh no. The poor girl. I mean, yeah, some people are violent. Like, that's just a part of politics. Shouldn't be, but trans people are a political issue, even though they shouldn't be. And people get violent about it, even when they really shouldn't. I hope that is BS that she feared for her life, but who knows, because people are insane like that. She may have actually thought she was in danger. I don't know. She'd be wrong, but that doesn't stop her. Let's save girls sports. Fucking ugh. This whole post just made me feel gross. What is going on with cishet men? But before I look at that, you have an adorable profile picture. Very cute, very cute. Childneedsfather.com. Let's see here. You have Omega, Gamma, Delta, Beta, Alpha, Sigma, Lambda, and Zeta. Is that Zeta or Zelda? Zeta? I'm going with Zeta. They say non-binary genders don't exist, and then they do whatever this is. Yeah. Sometimes we identify ourselves in weird ways. We really do. If you transition, you have to be prepared to be the ugliest woman alive. Bro, I'm not transitioning into your mom. Oh! Oh, damn. But I mean, yeah, just even there are a whole lot of trans people that would take it to be the ugliest of their desired gender. They'll take that. Not all, but plenty of them will. When a vampire isn't gay, I'm just like, okay, what's the point of all that? Well, hold on. There is one use for non-gay vampires. They can be used as a great foil or villain against the gay vampire, if you have a gay vampire major character. Otherwise, that villain is 100% gay. Whether or not they're open about it's a different story, but they are. The declining birth rate in our country has forced me to ask myself a couple tough questions, such as, who cares? And so what? Yeah, I really don't care about my declining birth rate. I'm gonna be honest here, it doesn't really matter to me. It does bother me I can't afford to have a child. That is kind of annoying. But like, the declining birth rate in general, not really a problem. Not for me anyway. Should I call you a good boy or a good girl? I didn't get this PhD for nothing. Call me good doctor. Being a dominatrix, except I'll have guys call me doc instead of ma'am or sir. I wouldn't be surprised if this is someone's actual kink. I would not be surprised in the slightest, actually. In Red are all the countries where it's illegal to be heterosexual. Oh no, it must be so hard. Pray for the straight people. My 5-year-old can't drive her pretend car because she can't find her driver's license that she made out of cardboard. Oh no, she's stressing because she doesn't know how she's going to take her babies to the park. Her pretend play is too real. I'm stressing with her. I'm just reading this and I'm stressing with her. Can we help? Accidentally called the PowerPoint presentation a PowerPoint presentation instead of a slide deck, and now everyone at this meeting knows I'm 40. I'm half your age and I still call Google Slides PowerPoint. Because I'm just that used to it. Legally, it's questionable. Morally, it's disgusting. Personally, I like it. I'm sorry, but what the frick could this be referring to that's not weird? Honey, sweetie, I'm sorry, but sometimes people make things because they're weird. This is definitely made for something that's weird. Like this was definitely designed for that. I'm sorry, it just was. This was made for weird stuff. It just was. I'm sorry, but it has a place. It's also a very cute art style. Like, unironically, I like the way that they drew in the eyes and the hair, how the color blends like that. That's really cute. I like it. Look, that trans girl couple. So, which one is the sub and which one is the sub pretending to be a dom? Being an adult is 90% worrying about money and 10% spending money you don't have on treats because you're worried a lot this week. Oh, that hurts. That hurts because it's real. How dare you? Technically, Ron. You've offended me by being right. In order for me to recognize Prince Charles as King Charles, I'll first require 2 letters from different psychiatrists who have been treating his king status for over a year, if not more, saying that he is in fact a king and that isn't a fetish or a fad or him faking it. Honestly fair, I'm down. We can wait. Scream? You mean the sound I fall asleep to? Oh. Maybe if you weren't sleeping, your films would have been better. Oh, shoot. Oh. Don't forget, in the first Saw movie, he was just lying on the ground for most of the movie. Like, it's a good movie, but still. Arizona iced tea. Ooh. A valid addition. I noticed a lot of dolls identify as non-binary at the beginning of their transition because they feel like they aren't pretty or feminine enough to call themselves a trans woman. And I really want y'all to stop doing that. You're valid, babe. Just take your moans and relax. No shade. That is pretty sweet. I will add to this, though. Those who will end up going full trans, both masc or femme, if you identify as non-binary at the beginning of that because you're testing things out or you're trying to learn or you just think you are, you are still valid as a non-binary. I feel like there's this weird kind of elitism there that's kind of hit where a lot of people assume you're fully trans when you identify as non-binary because of that. And yeah, a lot of people do this. But it's more of a survivorship bias thing, really, where they see a lot of people that go full trans that used to identify as non-binary or femboy or whatever, and then they find out, no, I just actually like this. And those people were valid with that identity until the point when they changed it themselves. In my eyes, you are valid with your label until that moment, because honestly, the labels are kind of just made up umbrella terms anyway. And it's also just not my place to decide whether or not you're going to change that label later on. Voluntary hierarchies are not a thing. What about femdom? Frick, I don't have a rebuttal. Oh no. No, they right. There are in fact voluntary hierarchies. I can't... You're not wrong. It's just a joke, dude. And the joke is just rooted in ideas that I'm reinforcing. Yeah, that is it. Jokes are usually reinforcing ideas of some extent. Which is why anything that's considered an edgy joke, quote unquote, is someone reinforcing an idea that is something people argue about. That's why you really have to know the crowd you're joking to. I don't care if my child, gay, straight, trans, whatever, but I draw the line at becoming a cop. Get out of my house, you frickin' fed. I love that cats just slap the crap out of everything they can't understand. I do too. That's one of the best traits cats have. Buy your trans girlfriend a prom dress and absolutely destroy her in it, because she missed out on that experience. Alternatively, have really quick, lousy sex for realism's sake.